When Annabelle was diagnosed with MPS, it was overwhelming, it was devastating. You go through a whole grieving process. It was a lot of tears, not knowing what the future held for my firstborn child. I knew that I needed to do something. Getting this diagnosis with no treatment or no cure was not okay. And not only is it not okay for me, but it's not okay for all the other families. It had to change. The Committee on Federal Legislation covers everything from building relationships with key decision makers in our government, which include NIH, FDA, congressmen, and senators. I joined the committee, and I encourage anybody that is interested in advocating to do it. It is not that hard, and it actually is very empowering to just take control of a situation that can be so overwhelming and to see change. The most important point to get across is the critical need that we have to move research forward, to allow for some flexibility in this space of rare diseases. I think anytime I'm going on an appointment to visit with a legislator or key decision maker or their staff, it's always a little nerve-wracking right beforehand, but as long as you do your homework and you know what you're going in for and you're clear on what you want, you have all the tools you need to have a successful meeting. I think telling your story when you're advocating is the most powerful thing you can do. It helps a disease put a face behind it so they can understand it. When I go in to tell my story, I always feel that I'm getting a response, that they are understanding what I'm talking about. I try to be as genuine as possible about the story that I'm telling and concise as possible.
When I hear firsthand what their plight is and what they're going through, obviously as a human being, I'm moved and touched by that. But as a legislator, it's important for me to hear that information as well, so that when I'm making decisions or deciding what I'm going to advocate for, it's important to have that contact. I've been inspired by many families who brought their stories to my attention, and the caucus itself was formed to further investment. We're about is saying, look, there are a lot of diseases out there that don't get the attention that others do. There are families out there that care about their loved one, that need to see some progress made.
The Legislative Committee for the last few years has done some amazing work. It's been really an exciting time. One of the goals is really to make sure that all the research, all the innovation that we're raising money for, that it can go to clinical trial. Every year, the Committee on Federal Legislation does present language for the appropriations bill, and in hopes that that will drive NIH to do more research dollars towards MPS grants. The type of NIH grants that they can put out are the $1 million grants. Those are the type of money that family fundraisers have a hard time getting anywhere close to that. So it's critical dollars. There's other parts of the advocacy which focus around incentives built in to attract new researchers, attract drug companies to researching a very rare disease, which is not going to be your normal blockbuster drug. The challenges with rare disease drug development and research is we are a very small patient population and we don't fit in a perfect box. There needs to be more flexibility. The Legislative Committee over the last few years has also been able to develop some relationships with the FDA and really talk to the FDA reviewers and the leadership about what MPS is and the complexities of it. One other thing that our Legislative Committee does is working with other rare disease groups. There's 7,000 other rare diseases out there, which affect about 30 million Americans across our United States. So as a collective voice, we have a very loud voice.
There's no question that the issue of rare diseases knows no political boundaries. They affect Democratic families and Republican families, and the real question comes into call is when we're having our priorities and determining how much we're investing in NIH and in the FDA to find the cures and to get the drugs approved. But it is important that our constituents reach out to us even today, more and more, whether it's through social media, which is a very effective tool, or it's by making phone calls or by writing a letter. Those are all effective tools as well in terms of communicating, but nothing works better than actually making an appointment, sitting down and meeting with your legislator to really, in a much more effective way, get your point of view across.
I don't think you need any special skills or experience necessarily going into being an advocate. Actually, at the National MPS Society, we have a legislative section with all the tools that you need to prepare. It feels good. It feels like I'm moving the ball forward. At the end of the day, I'm doing everything I can. My primary motivation is my daughter. Although I know that the disease is very rare, she is no less loved. She is still as important as every other child out there. Every child deserves a chance.